Welcome back, everyone. Sheepdog Smokey here, and let's dive in again. Pathetic. Joy Behar crosses serious line, blames President Trump for horrifying crime. ABC's The View co-host Joy Behar crossed a serious line on Monday and blamed President Donald Trump for a horrifying crime. During a segment on the show, Behar called Trump the culprit in the rise of incidents like last weekend in California, where a gunman opened fire on a synagogue, killing one and injuring three others. Co-host Whoopi Goldberg kicked off the segment. So yet again, it's happened in this country. Something horrible. Saturday, a white nationalist allegedly opened fire in a San Diego synagogue, killing one woman and injuring three others. The 19-year-old suspected shooter also being investigated for a recent mosque fire. He wrote an online manifesto saying he was inspired by recent acts of terrorism from other white nationalists. These incidents are on the rise. What do we do about this? Goldberg asked, kicking it off to Behar. Behar said, "I want to say something about Trump. I wrote down the line last week. Biden introduced a video where he brought up Charlottesville. We all saw that. It was very well done. It reminded me we're losing the soul of America." The next day, Donald Trump defends Charlottesville once again. No, he did not, Miss Behar. Says that these people were historians and were more interested in Robert E. Lee than the fact that they were saying Jews will not replace us. They were just historians. Miss Behar, I'm going to introduce you to a very simple concept. In a crowd of people, there are differing viewpoints. In Charlottesville, there were people who were very concerned about removing history from the public square. There were also despicable people committing acts of violence. There were also despicable liberals there committing acts of violence. There were also liberals there who were just there. You see, in both crowds, there are multiple viewpoints. I happen to be a historian by education. My degree is in history. And I know that when it starts being erased from public view, it can be easily rewritten. I can sit here as a proud Texan whose ancestors fought for the Union in the Civil War and tell you that Robert E. Lee was a brilliant tactician. I also know that Ulysses S. Grant was just a bit more brilliant. Both attended West Point. Both faced each other on the battlefields of the Civil War. Ulysses S. Grant studied Robert E. Lee and found how to defeat him. I can sit here as an American whose grandfather and great uncles fought in World War II and tell you that General Erwin Rommel was a brilliant man, tactically. I can also tell you that Adolf Hitler was a very amazing orator. He could whip a crowd into a frenzy. Adolf Hitler is also a very evil man, and I'm glad he's been removed from the face of the earth for close to 75 years now. Now let's continue. Why don't we just look up what Doris Kearns Goodwin then? Then on Saturday in the morning, this assault on the synagogue, Behar began. Then Saturday afternoon, our hearts are with the victims. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. He's provocative. He gives dog whistles constantly to this people. Then Kellyanne goes out there and defends him and says, "No, no, no." And he's like, "No, no, no," she said. Behar added, "Take responsibility for your actions, Mr. President. You are the culprit." No, he is not. You have here Socialist Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez also used a similar approach, but she blamed the Republican-controlled Senate and pushed for gun control immediately after the 19-year-old gunman opened fire on people inside the Chabad Poway Synagogue. Immediately following the attack, Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, "Heartbroken to hear of the San Diego synagogue shooting, particularly so on this final day of Passover. We have a responsibility to love and protect our neighbors. The longer the Senate delays holding a vote on H.R. 8, the more Americans we put at risk." Miss Ocasio-Cortez, what is the age to purchase a firearm of any kind in California? If my memory serves me, as it often does very well, that would be 21. How did a 19-year-old gain access to a firearm that he is 2 years too young to purchase legally in that state? If, as some will say, he traveled out of state to get it, why was he not arrested for the possession of it, which is also illegal under the age of 21, the second he returned to California? The answer is criminals break the law. They do not care what words you write down on paper. The shooting was certainly tragic and not something anyone wanted, so Behar blaming Trump is almost as pathetic as Ocasio-Cortez claiming Republicans are at least partially responsible. But this won't surprise any, given Democrats have made it clear they will blame Trump when a tragic event happens. In this era, everything is Trump's fault, according to liberals. And that is really the crux of it. Joy Behar would blame Trump for anything, including she would blame Trump if Eric Holder went on a rampage saying Hillary Clinton really won. Because, of course, then Trump not conceding the election when he won the Electoral College is the reason Eric Holder went on a rampage. She would blame Trump if Hillary Clinton called for active rebellion. Because, of course, him not conceding the election that he legally won is why she did it. Joy Behar would be the one complaining about doctors being out of work if Trump cured cancer, or saying the man is afraid of water if he walked across a lake. Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and so many more are mentally ill. This man who attacked the synagogue, the Chabad Poway Synagogue, in his manifesto, insulted conservatives and Donald Trump. He hates both Trump and all conservatives. So the man is as anti-Trump as possible, or at least is now that Trump is president. But it's all Trump's fault. And it's only a matter of time before one of them says, the only way to fix this is for Donald Trump to resign, then Mike Pence to resign, and anyone else until Hillary Clinton can be declared president, because that's the only way the country will ever heal. If that ever happens, as I've predicted before, expect the country to split almost immediately. But I've talked long enough on this one. Let me know what you think. Remember to keep it civil, as we do not learn from argument, we learn from debate. As always, also make sure to like, comment on, and share this video, as well as to subscribe and activate notifications so that you are among the first to know of all new content as it is posted. Outside of that, until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.